Are we there? Are we live? I hope we're live. I'm intrigued to see if you can actually hear the music. That's the real question. Oh god, the quality is so terrible. Why is my auto playback so shit? Have I already frozen? No, I haven't. Okay, you can't hear that, which is weird. Hello. I'm trying to sort some audio out. Hello? Okay, it's sort of noticeable. So, we'll say it's there. But yeah. It's fairly loud in my ears, so hopefully it's fine for you guys. But welcome to the live stream. It's been a while. Last weekend we covered someone. I think we actually covered Mad in that as well. But today we're going to be covering mainly SK ahead of their return to the LEC, not next week, the week after. And obviously today we've got the LEC finals. Now, we're going to be focusing technically on Mad for that, because they literally just beat Koi yesterday and have gone on a 3 best-of-5 win streak, which is surprising. This isn't game 1, this is game 3. This is game 1. Okay, let's go, game 1. So draft-wise, as a whole, I'm intrigued because recently, if you haven't noticed, Chasey has been kind of this main figure for how Matt have actually played this playoffs. So what they've kind of given him is the opening games a Cassante or a safe top pick, and then translated the latter games into him being a carry top flex, which is a strong thing that they have been showing. Now, bans so far, very stock standard. If Caitlyn doesn't get banned by SK here, then they're breaking the trend of red side bans. And I want to give you guys a hint. Up until the Koi game, it's been blue side dominance. Blue have realistically been this monstrous side of the Rift that no one realistically has been able to deal with, and as a whole is pretty scary. Reason being is because of these bans that you get to throw out and the first pick potential of your main threat. Jace for Mad has been one of them picks. Elise has definitely been the jungle pick that everyone's been afraid of. But there's also the likes of something that gets shown in this series for Mad that has been very dominant, and I'm actually going to be intrigued to see how G2 deals with it. And that is Niski's Gragas. A pick that's been very dominant, shall we say. I also really am confused. I thought I fixed this. It's still stuttery as all hell. I'm actually gonna quickly check something. So apologies for that. If the properties come up, there we go. We'll go with that. Give me a second. I'll keep talking because you can still hear me. Essentially, draft so far, we've already gone through the first pick ban phase. Yeah, I mean, as my PC is having a kind of crap on itself right now. Pick so far, there's SK picking up the Gragas, which is a surprise. I was talking about Niski's Gragas. SK pick it away. But draft so far, no one wants to realistically go for the Lucian. Caitlyn was actually left open here, which I'm shocked by, because I think every matchup we've kind of seen, it has been essentially banned. And obviously, I don't think the team, now that an ADC has been locked in, will go for the pick as my... Come on. My PC, apologies for this, really hates me. You're probably going to get a big image of me. There we go. Finally moved it over. Hopefully, this fixes it. But yeah, I'm realistically thinking draft so far, looking at SK as a whole, you've got a lot of poke with the Jace and the Varus. Gragas is there to cause disruption. It's a very solid first half of the draft for SK. As for the Madlions, they're looking to play early game here. With the Elise, you've also got a bit of poke to return back at with the Sivakama. If this also being locked in on SK provides a bit more engage, SK, I think, have a decent draft overall, because they want to kind of team fight and poke and prod and control objective area before essentially anyone gets in. And right now, personally think as I do that, never mind, haha. Why don't you want to work for me? So essentially, drafts have been locked in, and that's Niski Zoe on one side, which kind of returns the poke and the prod. If I think about it, I like the Madlions draft here. You've got top side being a nothing matchup realistically. Cassante either one gets neutralized or Cassante dominates. Elise Gragas, it's AP junglers. Elise probably early game has more priority, will want to try and affect the map. And then you also have, as I am really enjoying this camera not working, We'll drop it down a little. Will it work now? Device default. I still look like shit. Anyway, draft-wise, I'm gonna say it definitely fairly even. It's just gonna come down to a little bit of execution in my eyes, and hopefully it's enough to actually sort this bot lane matchup, as yes, I am staring at my side screen if you could see that. Ah, I look horrible. I know. It's a little better. It's still jittery. I can't control that, unfortunately, because it sucks. Anyway, bot side, level 1, actually going to come out here. A lot of trading. There shouldn't be any kills. The trouble bubble lands, but yeah. It should just be a back it up, sort of. Ooh, that's me. I think that's probably the bet. Hi. I look so happy to be on camera. Should be a lot better now, he says. Level 1 starts, though. We obviously had that sort of trading bot side. Nothing came from it. And it's just going to be red start, or yeah, red side jungle starts for both junglers. At least starting on her red buff, though. Gragas on the wolf camp. Probably going to full clear top side here, Gragas. Pathing his way down bot, which makes sense. And obviously, Elyoya pathing top side towards Chasey kind of also makes sense. In the sense that Elyoya has kind of been this sort of facilitator, as I move myself over into the camera frame. He's been kind of facilitating towards Chasey, because Chasey has stepped up, and in a Gnar matchup, which realistically could be a nothing matchup where neither side gets an advantage, I like the fact that Elise will path up towards him, because it's expected that if the Cassante gets ahead, to make this matchup a living hell for Gnar, and so that he can't be kind of matched on the side lanes. So the pathing right now, Elise is skipping over her blue side camps to go get a bit of vision down into the red side jungle. This is solely so A, she can check for any buffs, which Gragas actually has left. He hasn't taken his red buff yet, and Elyoya is going to spot this. Kind of tells you that Gragas is bot side, or going to path up towards his top side, and maybe it's started on blue buff, who knows. That could have been the hint towards it. Anyway, dive comes through, fairly standard sort of pathing, but it was spotted by SK here, and it's just good follow from Marcoon, and I'm surprised that Elyoya went for the gank, seeing that the red side camps were up. The reason I say I'm surprised to see it is because he's clearly going to be pathing up there, and you're knowing full well as that should be a dead. Good flash out by Kazi. Bit over aggressive, but Elyoya is going to be here. It's spotted out on the ward, so bot side played safe. And there we go. Back to the top side play. Elyoya takes the turret shots. He takes turret aggro and just gets bonked by Gragas. There's nothing much more needs to be said about that dive. It's just a failed dive that SK capitalized on very well. Marcoon pathed exceptionally well to kind of get him the play and make himself kind of known. Because obviously Elise always wants to play an early game thing. Now Nard does not have flash here, so this cocoon should be fairly easy. Flash into the cocoon to secure it. Yeah, dead Gnar. Good play by Mad to kind of punish the summers they burnt. Oh yeah, it's this play. So Niski stole a summoner teleport. I believe he stole that off of Certus when he teleported back to lane, or he got it off of a bubble from the mid wave. And because of that, he's able to go to the top side play freely with a teleport to the turret. Obviously, Unleashed teleport isn't out yet. And then he went back to mid with his actual teleport. He's also running Unsealed Spellbook, which makes this even more impressive because he had it off rotation, which is great. And Niski gets a punish. Huge, honestly. Top side, it's just dominance. I told you it's essentially either going to be a nothing matchup or Casante's just going to get absolutely ahead. And right now, Casante is ahead. He's getting free turret plating. Marcoon's going up to kind of kill the wave. But look at Elyoya. Already pathing top to provide cover for Casante, who is kind of proxying the next wave, which means his next wave gets to crash into turret for free. That's a solo kill. Niski, this is why you don't give him his Zoe. I'll be honest, his Zoe is phenomenal. If you've watched his LCS games on this pick, he did very good in it. Bot side yet again for SK. Have push and a literally one auto attack off of getting a kill. Anyway, mid, Sleepy Trouble Bubble, pops it. He also gets the tick with the electrocute. Simple, honestly. It's just outclass out after outclass here by Mad. And look at this minion wave. I think Zoe, for some reason, got a massive buff. She's got 2 bubbles in one wave. Like, that just gives so much sort of play potential for her. Bot side, Kazi's on his own. Silenced. He's just dead. Good play overall. No trade kill yet, but 3 members of SK versus... No, it's 4 members of SK versus 3 of Mad. That's going to be the proto belt from Niski. Flash is now being burnt. They're still alive. This bot lane is just a matter of last hits on either side. Niski, 1 auto off of getting that. And yeah, this is very close as a whole. But Mad have the inside track onto Drake. They're starting this up. Karma's going to keep Elyoya alive and free first straight to Mad. Something that I've noticed about Mad is they put a lot of attention on first Drakes. They did it in the Koi series. They focused Drakes early. And then Koi realized this, tried to counter it, but they just couldn't, like, match it as a whole. And as such, Hillisang just pushing off the jungler. It's funny. But yeah, it's honestly very impressive what Mad do. with how they actually play early game. Now, I personally am impressed by a couple of things that Mad do. And one of them is the fact that they hopefully this is a good fix. If not, we'll see. I think I broke it. Oh well. Back on that. Drop you down to that. That's a lot better. Anyway, oh god, I'm so tiny. Hi. Anyway, back to the play at hand. There we go. I feel and look a lot better. I'm not actually... Yeah, fix it. Anyway, I've been a bit focused on troubleshooting my camera, something I was expecting to do before. And yes, I'm rocking a weird as flippin' heck like hoodie. It's nice and warm. I've been cold, shall we say, as topside trading as standard. There we go. I've got the camera perfect now. Let's get into this. I'm gonna continue watching this. Trading bot side, Niski gonna use an ignite he picked up. Oh, so that sleepy trouble bubble. He knows these angles so well, and is actually very good at hitting them. Mid, gonna just be the ghost out from Exokick here. Something we've kind of not focused in on is the advantages this bot lane for SK have kind of surmounted for themselves. Obviously, Exokick is ahead of Kazi and Hilly, which is nice, as I am also playing Pokemon Go while I'm watching this. That's going to be the Cocoon. A lot of burst down from Elise, but I'm going to get back into Pokemon Go. Fuck it, we might as well talk about it. It's Pokemon Go Hoenn Tour Day. Of course I'm going to play it. I played a lot of it yesterday. Surprisingly, I've only gotten one shiny. I love that bubble. It's a zoning bubble. And Hilly's coming to just force Certus away. The root's not going to land. Hilly, I don't know if he had the shield to make him go quicker, like earlier, but damn. This is impressive from Mad. They're controlling each lane in a very dominant way. It's 3 winning lanes bar mid, and mid's just going to be essentially a farm fest between the 2 ADCs. Once this top lane tier 1 gets cracked open, which probably will off this wave, it is a demolition Cassante. Bonk. There you go. That's all the turret plates gone off of that turret, as with 13 minutes in the game, and that does so much damage. Like, you don't realize how powerful Niski actually is right now. I mean, it's fairly obvious, but like, damn. I'm shocketh as to the fact that it can just be bonk 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 with his damage. No one realistically can match him right now. It's one thing that I like about this Madlions squad is how they can play the map. Essentially, Niski has a lot of picks up his sleeve And as do a lot of the players on the Madlions. And it's very impressive to see that when they go for these sorts of fights, they're able to pick up surprisingly big, large advantages for themselves. I, for one, am just amused by the fact that they're sitting here with a 3k gold lead with 3 kills to 3 or 2, but it's been off of how they're actually playing the lanes, and with Alyoya roaming so heavily, it makes them very hard to kind of deal with. Now, personally, I think that Mad versus G2 will go to G2. I've made my prediction clear, and the bot thinks Mad will win for some reason. I think G2 will win because their style is a slightly better version of Mad's. Caps his guy as that's a poor cast. They were really trying to pop Kazi into his team as the fight continues. That's a cleanse out. That's Soraka. Oh, yeah, there is a Soraka in this game. I forget about that. Essentially popping back the carry. Anyway, gonna be brutally honest. This looks pretty one-sided, as a lot of damage just gets put down onto SK every time they try to fight, and although the last fight looked close, it just didn't feel it. I'm gonna be brutally honest. Just because it feels close doesn't mean it is. And objective control is all I have to say about this game. You look where Mad are. They've gotten, I think, every objective on the map, and what has been the counterplay from SK? Nothing much, really. And that's because the fact that Chasey has gone Cassante, he's not very punishable on said pick, and SK wasting time. Look, the fact that their bot lane are that far forward and nothing. They get absolutely nothing from it. It's funny because you can't really do anything as SK. If Mad don't show anything to you, what are you gonna do? You're gonna essentially have to try and force over aggressively, and that's something Mad want you to do. They want you to try and force a play that causes fighting. This early game has been ballooned out of control, and that's because Mad have been able to get themselves these picks that are just keeping them ahead of SK. Cassante already has more than 2k health. I don't think there's any shot the SK win game 1. It's been too hard for them here. Cassante is already too far ahead. And the reason I say that's important is because if Cassante is ahead and Mad are playing basically a 4 stack with Niski being a pressure point, as he is right now, just harassing you and poking you down below half health, what do you do? Because he's just going to continue. And I, for one, think Mad just have a firm grasp of this meta, and their picks. Because no one else has been playing this Gragas mid. No one else has been playing Zoe. And the rest of their lanes are fairly standard in terms of the LEC. But I have to point out the fact that, oh, that's pretty much a dead Varus if you didn't cleanse. I have to say this. It's a poke meta that we're currently living in. I hate to admit it, but Varus being picked up a lot. Sivir, poke. Karma, poke. Zoe, hell of a lot of poke. You could even say Gragas and Elise are poke champs. Even Maokai's a poke champ. That's been how this meta is. It's a hell of a lot of poke and a lot of essentially we will burst you out before you get to do anything. It's funny because it shouldn't be like that with what picks get poked. Well, no, even then, Ashe and Heimer, both big picks in the current meta that get banned quite a bit. Caitlyn as well, poke. It's just poke. That's this meta. Ezreal is in there. It's sad to say it's poke, but you just pick a tank top and the rest of you be poke. That's what we see. And that's what Mad have found success on. If the Elise gets banned, they go towards something like a Sejuani or a Vi. But the meta in this game is reflective of we're going to poke you out and force you away. And what can you do? Because Niski here, granted, is overstepping trying to play the wall for Sleepy Trouble Bubbles to ensure he can get the tier 2. But he's still trying to poke you. That's his goal. And it's funny because Mad shouldn't have, like, been that far forward. And I personally think that SK right now should definitely be planning for game 2. Because we all know blue side dominance, it just basically means more poke. I'm just going to say it. All this video is going to be me talking about poke. Kind of funny as a whole. And, you know, I, for one, am hoping that we get 5 games today between G2 and Mad. We probably won't, because that's how this meta has been. And I'm realistically looking forward to... Probably won't, because that's how this meta has been. So, as a whole, I'm going to say this right now. Next fight probably will be, as the chain of corruption goes wide, next fight will definitely be for Drake Soul. I don't think Mad will, like, force anything more. I mean, they can try and get the tier 2s like Niski is doing. But other than that, it's very much so a give and take situation. SK have learned that they can't exactly fight Mad right now, and are gonna need to scale up, as that's just Soraka gone. It's just a little chip, a little stun, and she dead. But yeah, essentially they put pressure onto the other side of the map. Mad then rotate. They've gone from the bot side map, rotating, killing off Soraka, and now basically clearing out the vision that was set up around the Baron by SK in order to get themselves, or force, Irrelevant away from the tier 2. And while that in itself is a teeny tiny sort of movement, it's still enough to stop or halt any SK pressure. Because bot side's so forced up by Mad. Mid has kind of evened out now, but Mad are going to immediately get pressure back in as a deep TP comes in. Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands. That's so much poke. And they group up. Siva's just easily going to pick up kills. And Niski isn't going to kill off Certus here. But that's just a hell of a lot of damage put down. Certus is probably going to get away. Nah. Gets a kill back. Hilly might be out of position here. He is going to probably run straight through mid and get away. Certus is too low to stop him. But that's Drake Salt over to Mad. As soon as they got the big burst from arguably the paddle star from Niski as, oh, yeah, they're not going to get him. They've used their cocoon. What? Vision score means nothing, let's be honest. Marcoon and DOS had to clear out a lot of vision. As we watch it again, I want to focus on Niski. He puts the Gragas to sleep, who is obviously main target because he's jungler. Cleanse gets burnt by X kick. Okay. We'll go back a bit. Sleep onto Gragas. He's forced to belly bop away and not go in. In theory, he could have gone in onto Kazi, but I don't know if he would have survived. In fact, he probably would have if X kicked followed him up. They could have realistically turned onto the 3 members of Mad here. Because Kazi, what not Kazi, Chasey isn't in the play. He's TPing in still. You could have either have turned onto Niski or the 3 members of Mad. You probably would have died still, but you would have kind of nullified the poke from range that you're going to be experiencing here. So instead, Gragas falls asleep, falling back. It's a cocoon onto Exakick, forcing his cleanse out. And Kazi's obviously throwing in the boomerangs freely. Paddle Star, bop, Soraka negates the damage onto her from it. And a lot of the one on Certus. But it's enough damage, and the way that their pathing is straight into where Chasey has TP'd. So he's going to push back Exakick into the Karma Q, and I just realized the cast gets used there. It's a bit late, because in my eyes, what you could have done here as Marcoon. Okay, either that sidebar here is not intuitive of the actual ult in this fight. He clearly has it. But essentially, he could have cast here. Okay, what you could have done is a lot of different things here as SK. Marcoon could have flash body slam cast Kazi. He hasn't got cleanse. He does have his black shield, but in my opinion, he'd only be able to block the body slam. The cast would have still come through, and he is probably a full AP Gragas. I don't actually see the build, judging by the fact he's got Dark Harvest. He definitely is, and he hasn't got that much health. Cast into Exakick, and probably Chain of Corruptioned him, and bursted out 1 carry from Mad. And that carry is the consistent damage for Mad. He's the only one that does enough damage over and over again that makes this Madlions poke threatening. So as a whole, if you turn onto this side, you burst out Kazi, you probably would have seen a flash from Elise in her spider form on top of Gragas in order to try and kill him. But like, I still think turning onto these 3 would have been the better play here from SK, instead of them being like focused out like they are and forced back into Chasey. It's just, as a whole, well played by Mad to corral this SK squad, and it's something they do a lot, is this three-pronged attack. Chasey coming in from one side, Nisqy the other, and then a 3-block into you. It's how they played the entire Koi series, is a 3-man block brigade, and it's very effective in getting on the flanks. It's stupidly good, and it's working out for them, as you can see in this series, as Kazi is untouched, and he does enough to essentially force the fight. It's superb play out from Mad. Surprised that they didn't actually get the Baron. Obviously, they spent a lot of time chasing kills and going to the Drake. But yeah, you would have thought they'd go for Baron. But then again, they don't want to overforce. They obviously are in clear control of this game, and they'll return back to lanes to push them out. Because right now, dare I say it, they definitely need to push out bot side. Cassante is doing that. Get that pushed all the way up to the tier 3. Same with the top wave, because if you do that, you force Irrelevant or Certus to go bot side in order to answer them. Obviously, they're the two members with TP. And what do you know? No one's gone back yet. It is, in fact, however, going to be just Nisqy and Hylissang poking away SK on their own. And Chasey, yeah, got the push in bot side, has essentially gone back and joined up with his team. He doesn't have teleport right now, so this is a smart thing for him to do. He is going to walk into SK, who are lying in wait over the wall, but he's still so damage heavy. He's going forward, he knocks back Certus, and yeah, as a whole, Mad just playing the map better. Let's be honest, the bot wave's still pushing towards SK's base. Irrelevant probably going to have to go back and answer it. Unlucky timing there from Nisqy, honestly. That isn't Irrelevant, that is Marcoon. So he got very lucky there. Bot wave still pushing forward. And Mad know it. They're going to rotate back around to Baron, clear out the vision. It's complete and utter darkness for SK. Marcoon again hit by the chunks. Cassante walking forward, hitting, queuing, getting pushed back, but he gets the pushback. And this is just damage. The consistent damage is high from Sivir, but she's overstepping. She's so far forward, and the Nah just takes her out. And then we're back with Nisqy, just doing Nisqy things, playing aggressive with walls. He's too fed, let's be honest. I'm actually surprised he's ahead of Certus in terms of gold right now. But there you go, Irrelevant back in the bot side. He's going to force that forward. Gragas going down to shadow him. This is not a fun champion. So, what have we learned? I love this actually by Nisqy. He's using the vision he's accrued for himself as he steps forward. That's aggressive. He's greeding too hard. Teleports come through. Cassante though. I mean, it's Cassante. He should be fine. Soraka. Okay. Oh, Hilly. Yeah. I don't need to say much more than yeah. We'll get a replay of it, probably, but I'm just gonna be brutally honest, that's game. Baron is clearly in the eyes of Mad, and it was an honestly well-played fight by this Mad squad. Niski overstepped, gets caught out, but the Chain of Corruption gets used immediately on him to lock him down, which obviously big team fighting ult for SK to provide space. The Q goes wide from X-Kig, so that's on cooldown, but the silence onto Niski means he can't flash, get away. Chasey comes in and you think, okay, he's pretty much dead. It's a 3v1, 4v1 technically, because Soraka's able to top him up. But he's just surviving, doing so much work. Hilly's there providing shields for him. Bot side of the fight is just a Cocoon and Kazi doing enough damage to burst out the Gragas. And then it's just chase down after chase down as Na is next in the eyes of Mad. And back to live. Alyoya caught out, forced a stopwatch. Na coming over the wall. But it's just so much damage coming out from this Mad line bot side. I told you about the Kazi consistent damage, and he's just freely hitting people. No one seems to be focusing the Sivir, and it's because there's bigger threats. This Zoe is a menace. Oh, nearly hitting DOS there. Nah, Mega's out, but like, there hasn't really been an impactful Na ult this game. Like, SK have kind of been routed by Mad's pressure. The Zoe has just been dominant, and Chasey just executes off relevant. Pretty simple first game for Mad. It was always in their favor. Let's move into the second game of this best of 5. I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. It's not been close at all. It's sad, but true. Gonna be brutally honest with you. Oh yeah, I've got some news though for you guys. I might as well while we wait for Champion Select. I'm going to MSI. Managed to get myself tickets for the semi-final. I didn't get final tickets, but I'm there for the weekend, the finals weekend, all weekend basically, which is going to be fun. I really have been wanting to go to a league event, and you know, MSI being in London, very local in terms of a league event for me. So yeah, gonna be a fun one. Getting into pick ban, expect the Maokai, expect the Caitlyn, expect the Ashe banned out by Mad, and SK actually gonna be the ones to take away the Varus from themselves, Jace from themselves. Getting into pick ban, expect the Maokai. We know what's gonna come, but the fact that they're banning out picks they went for in game 1 indicates that they expect Mad to go for them as well. Clearly there's some meta defining picks. Jack's actually going to be banned by Mad. They've constantly banned this pick out for themselves. They did it game 1, they're doing it game 2, which means that either the Ashe or the Caitlyn is going to come through as a pick, or an available pick for SK. Last ban from SK side of things, it's going to be Elise. Okay, that makes sense. They're kind of saying they want to secure there only being one power pick. Obviously, it's pretty big to ban away an Elise, because I'm actually surprised actually they do that. Because Marcoon kind of has looked his best on this pick to split. It's been one of those things he's gone towards that has kind of been stupidly strong for him. Now, SK first pick up the Sejuani. It's Lucian Nami going in for Mad. It's intriguing. This bot lane has kind of fell sour to a lot of teams recently. They've gone for it, but it's not looked good. I expect to see here from Mad the Vi, because Zeri and Lulu have been locked in. Yeah, pretty standard. I personally am not a fan of Lucian Nami as a bot lane now. It's kind of fallen off meta, but teams are still willing to play it. And the reason I say I'm not a big fan of it is the consistent damage this bot lane can do is minimalistic as the game goes on. They're meant to lane bully you and cause you issues, but as a whole, their actual effectiveness on the map is very small. Now, second ban phase, expect Niski to receive a hell of a lot of bans. Silas is still up. You've got Azir. You've got the Gragas that we all know is available. But they're still banning out the Talia. I mean, I know Niski likes to play globals and play for the sides, but like, I wouldn't say Talia is that big of a pick. Azir as well. We haven't actually seen Niski perform on Azir yet, the split. And that may be because SK are banning it here, as it's a clear counter to what they want to go towards. I would say Silas is something Certus will go to here, because if you pick Azir into a Silas, essentially you can Emperor's Divide the Silas away from you when he's trying to dive in with his E. So yeah, it makes sense. You also can push back Nah. Basically, SK are banning things that section them away from the backline of Mad. So that makes sense to me. And actually, it's going to be the Akali. He's throwing down the challenge. That makes some sense to me. Obviously, banning out the Azir now, because you can Emperor's Divide him out of the ult. As for the rest of the drafts, stock standard. If that Ori gets locked in, bit of comfort. But it's instead the Kassadin. I don't know about that one. I mean, I get it. You can Rift Walk onto the Shroud and hit the Akali with a lot of burst without actually hitting her, if that makes sense. Obviously, the AoE from the Rift Walk. But looking at the rest of the draft, I think it's going to come down to scaling and the weirdness of Madline scaling. Lucian comes online 2 items and then peters off as the game goes on. Zeri hits 3 items and is still essentially scaling hard. Plus with the Lulu next to her, the damage is essentially massive from SK's side of the Rift. I also like that they've got a Sejuani to provide a lot more bulk that the Gragas will not. So yeah, this SK draft, I think, fits the meta more than what they did in game number 1. But regardless of that, we are definitely going to be hitting game number 2 here with a bit more of an interesting draft. I am currently looking for my hat because my hair, regardless of that, is being a bitch. So let me go find that. We got the hat online. There we go. Yes, I'm being a bit silly goofy today, if you can't tell by the output I've got on things. Gonna sit back for this game a bit more, because right now we've got some breaking news. Yeah. Game number 2. Cassante back again topside. It's the Cassante matchup we've seen a lot. I've already described how I feel about the matchup and how it's so you know? Personally, I've already described how I feel about the matchup. I think that Cassante always wins that matchup. And it's very hard for Na to find any sort of pressure from it. Cassante always wins that matchup. But standard starts as a whole, blue buff and Grump for Vi, and red buff and Krugs for the Sedge. Gonna want to maximize. Actually, it's Raptors into red buff from Vi. Just realized that. You can tell I'm clearly not paying much attention to the matchup starts. Actually, it's Raptors into red buff. Sedge, not spotted out yet. Actually, still gonna remain invisible. But this kind of does tell Mad that essentially, hey, Sedge knows that their Raptors are warded and is avoiding them like the plague. Also, never mind. Sedge already took the Raptors, so they know that she was bot side. They probably either expected her to crash over to top, but Chasey wasn't expecting the immediate gank. Probably expected just for the blue buff or the full jungle to be taken. And yeah, first blood goes over to SK due to a bit more excellent pathing from Marcoon. And we exercised in game 1 that Elise wanted to go for these early game plays. It's instead the Sejuani in this game going for the early plays, forcing Elyoya back. Gonna have to cue the wall. Spot side, Zeri nearly gonna be taken out here. Hylissang stepping forward. Pressure is being put down. Summoner's not burnt other than the heal and now a flash. But it's still advantage to the Mad Lions, who just pressure better. That's how I'll word it. As we were saying, Lucianami probably a better lane bully early game in comparison to good work there by Exakick to deny Hilly's back. As we were saying, Lucianami probably a better. But this is Hilly's probably wanting to try and keep the wave off the turret, and he's failed. But it's still a big dub here for SK. They're gonna keep pressuring in. I think Hilly's done enough work here because they've kept the ADC of SK busy. He hasn't actually gone back to reset, whereas DOS got a reset, border control ward, to get a bit deep vision into the back side of Matt's jungle. And there we go. He's now going to be spotted out. They know that DOS is doing this. So clearly Mad should expect vision in their jungle here. I dare say that the sweeper will be used by Vi as soon as she enters the spot side jungle. Hilly's also down there, probably doing the same thing. It makes so much sense to clear that out. And jungle pressure early, you can see this on the graphic below. The goal difference at 14 is just Elyoya dominant. Marcoon this game, however, is the one who's got an advantage, as he's just given this Nah a bit more of a comfort time in the top side. I'm surprised though, as we have 4 members of Mad in the bot side. Kassadin has got Riftwalk available, and it's just Lucian picking up the first kill in the bot side. Onto the Lulu. It was a good dive there, and the Vide locks him down, but he is going to trade his life 1-for-1. That's a good play by X-Kick to trade 1-for-1 here. As Certus and Marcoon have roamed down. That's going to be R1. Flash forced out from Kazi. And no more. It's going to come from that play. Never mind, there's more coming from that play. I looked away as Marcoon just being taken out low. Not going to fall. That should be Drake over to Mad Lions. Never mind, there's more coming from that play. I looked away. Zeri went back to mid. Certus gonna clear out bot side. It should be a trade between Zeri and Akali in terms of their positioning right now. But in actuality, what we are seeing is Certus staying bot. Now the switch comes through. Zeri gonna go pick up the bot lane. She's spotted on vision. There's now technically 3 members of SK bot side, so Mad probably will play safe, reset. As we watch the fight down bot side again, Lulu is playing so far away from Zeri to kind of stop the engage. Zeri dashes over the wall, and that kind of sidestep there stops the Vi from hitting her with the Q, and instead it makes the target Lulu first. And while we do see Lucian picking up the kill, Zeri trades one back and kind of makes this bot lane still even, or even to some extent. Obviously, there's a slight gold lead for Lucian, but that's because he's got 2 kills. So, what do I want to see now? Well, Herald's on the map. Chasey being caught out here isn't good for Mad. He's going to definitely... Never mind. He is going to be locked up. The brittle hits. And a good ult from Certus. No, was it Certus? Yeah, Certus did ult to get that. But a good ult from Sedge to kind of get in on top. And Nah obviously pathed around so that if Chasey managed to jump over the wall, he was still dead to Nah. But the kill went into the right pockets there. Akali now leading over to Kassadin, going to be able to deal with him a little bit more, as he isn't able to just jump straight in without facing a lot of damage. And that's a big thing to note, because Akali, as the game goes on, that Q damage ramps up hard. It isn't that Doran's shield start we used to expect from Akali's. It is going to be Doran's ring, which means that it's a lot more damage and sustain, and it's very hard to deal with the Akali. In the other game, Kassadin, I'm yawning. Kassadin not going to be able to do as much. Marcoon just shadowing his bot lane. Going to try and make a play onto Kazi and Hilly. Now, personally, I would say that's a good play. But with the fact that the bot lane of Mad reset, Hilly is obviously trying to get some deep vision with Yoya. Zeri could be caught here. She isn't going to die, but she could have been caught. I also just realized Herald is in the back pocket of Sedge, who is going to be spotted here. Put bid damage down. No dive going to come out onto X-Kick. And yeah, as a whole, I would say that Mad need to step up this pressure, or kind of match the pressure that SK are putting down. Because SK look a lot more confident in this game. They're getting a lot more on the map. They're certainly playing the map better, and actually have managed to pick up an objective for themselves in the Herald. we need to kind of track where Marcoon is going. He's hovering this bot side map quite a lot, which leads me to think he wants to drop the Herald down here. We should expect probably a very aggressive trade out from X-Kick and, oh, no one saw that failed E. But that's going to force a misplay, because that's a lot of damage put down to the turret that wouldn't have been put down. And the turret plate actually fell. So Niski going to get a free turret plating due to the fact that there was a misplay out from Certus. So, back to Vision. Hylissang just trying to keep his eyes on Marcoon, whom has wrapped around, going to be spotted out in the mid lane. Niski letting him know he saw it, but Marcoon just dropping the Herald in his face. Niski's very far forward. Oh yeah, hovering the wall. Not going to go over, but that's 2 turret plates over to the Zeri, which means quite a bit because she's the main damage dealer, as I've just found a shiny Plusle. Woo! I am playing Pokemon Go. Shiny Plusle. Out my phone. It's shiny. I can't show it anymore. But we missed the kill topside. Nah. Happy Beamy. That's all I have to say. Nah. Just gets absolutely wiped off the map by the Vi. Good play from the Madlions to get themselves some gold back. That top side has been bleeding for JC. Down 1.5k as TP going to come into the bot side. Cert's going to pick up the wave. Not going to bleed any more damage on that. As we watch the kill up top side, JC just goes all in. That was a weird ultimate from him. Anyway, 2 unstoppable ults come out from Mad, and they just make irrelevant on the map. Simply put, that was a good play. Back to bot side. Mid laners have moved down. It's going to be ADCs in the mid lane. And Alyoya and Hilly, that's one thing that I need to talk about, is their willingness to roam together has been phenomenal. It's a very strong mid jungle support combo, who you always seem to see together. Hilly's playstyle certainly, I feel, fits how Alyoya wants to play, and the fact that they're always roaming together makes them very, very powerful. Now, I for one hope to see this same sort of roaming out from the Madlions today. As yet again, contest onto objectives in jungle could cost them here. Is Certus is around, they know he's there. Back to mid, Zeri getting jumped on, forced back. She's very slippery, so not going to be much to come out of that. Back to mid though. Zeri getting jumped on, forced back. She's very slippery, so not going to be much to come out of. SK trying to force, going to get the wave out from Hilly, just so the wave falls quite quickly. Good play overall. SK trying to force, gonna get the wave out. Means that Mad have realistically no pressure points, because Certus is very quick to roam back down. But this is the thing though, Mad are a team that always try to look for plays, and it works out, because right now what they've just done is they use the wave mid to hold back SK so they're not going to get anything, and SK just grouped as 4, and that essentially means that it's very hard for them to do anything, as that's cleanse out. Kali going in, the R2 available, but Zeri is frontlining like a madman, going to pick up the first kill onto Nami. But as I was saying, the way the Madlions play is very interesting, because they stop out plays on the other side of the map, while then also, this could be bad. Chasey trying to kill off the Gnar, gonna go all out. But good guy DOS stops to jump forward. And boom. Irrelevant gets out. And is also going to put a lot of damage down onto Alyoya, who's gone Black Cleaver start. For some reason, this is a contested pick or item for Vise to go first item. For some reason. But no, let's be honest. Alyoya is very squishy right now. And so if he tries to go in onto the Zeri, it's basically a one-way trip. And that's why we saw Mad kind of back up there. It's because they don't want to give over too many kills. They gave over one because the Zeri just went hella aggressive. Made this big aggro play. They are going to pick up the Herald here because they 4-man grouped. Made it so that SK couldn't contest because Chasey's down bot side. Hasn't got TP just yet. He is going to be able to, though, join now as we go back to the bot side. It's just Certus kind of forcing Mad to hug the wall and then watch Zari immediately over the wall. Puts the W down. Never mind, she doesn't even W. She flashes. Oh, that was clean. Flash ult into Lulu, polymorph, and ult. Just keeps her alive. Damage. Just too much for Mad right now. And somehow, Exokick is still behind on gold. After basically having a very dominant bot side. That's all I have to say. Kazi and Hilly unable to do anything as there's the Zeri just going over the wall pretty easily. Backside the fight, Sedge comes in with the Gnar, just cleaning up everyone. Alyoya wanted to go in onto the Zeri. She was too close to the wall. The polymorph also, not polymorph. Wild Growth, that's the name of the ultimate. Wild Growth just meant that she just got big. And boom, not gonna fall. And it is instead gonna be Madlions who are falling. Losing out on the mid lane tier 1. That means that a lot more jungle pressure could be put down as we watch this again. X-Kick steps up to the wave. Gonna be the ult, cease and desist out from the Vi. She isn't able to get the Q off before Zeri goes over the wall. Because, spoiler alert, she used the Q to get in close. I forgot about that. Anyway, just free and easy kills over to Zeri. Now she's ahead of Dilution in gold. And this is the bit of the game that we like to call Goodbye Ivory. This game's over. I have to say it. The game feels over because Zeri just scales a lot harder than Dilution does. And she's just gonna keep going ahead of her counterpart. And there's not much Mad can do unless they shut her down. And how are you going to shut down a Zeri who's constantly being shadowed by a Sedge and will always have the Lulu next to her? Bot side has been given up by Mad. They're looking to trade it for a tier 2 top because they're putting the Herald down. And that means that this turret is definitely falling. There's more tempo top side for Mad than there is for SK bot side. But what SK are doing is they've just 3-man piled into mid and taken the tier 2. This is still favored to SK, surprisingly, because they're also pressuring. They got 2 turrets, one being a tier 2, one being tier 1, whereas Mad piled in a lot of gold into that Kassadin for the late game scale. They're kind of banking on Niski here this game to be a late game threat to keep them alive. But he's finally got for himself a stopwatch. I was gonna say, he's very squishy, as a pick. He hasn't fully stacked his Rod of Ages, and more than likely he would have been bursted out if the Akali got on top of him. But now that he's got a stopwatch, provides a bit more safety in fights. He can go in a bit more freely. I like this pickup. It's a good way to kind of negate some of the things SK want to do to you. But as a whole, now that he's got a stopwatch, SK have a firm grip still on this game. There's not much pressure being put onto the map now by Mad, because mid lane is constantly controlled by SK. Top side has evened out in terms of the push, and although Chasey is pushing in the bot side, he's got a long lane, and Nah has already roamed himself back down. He's going to pick up the wave quite freely, and Mad is struggling here to adapt. They're getting their style played against them here in game number 2, and that's purely because Certus was able to get a harder scaling early game pick in comparison to Niski. As we watch this play, fighting, trading out, just going to be for vision. Nothing else can be garnered. One more placed, that'll be swept out. You've got 3 sweepers on the side of SK. They're wanting to not allow a 3-pronged flank to happen to them. So they're clearing out the vision, not allowing TP wards to come through. I like this out from SK, but what they're doing is stalling out the game right now. I think they need to make a play. And the reason I say that is because Kassadin, level 15, almost at that 16 power spike that everyone knows from Kassadin. But I would say this as bot side. Chasey has found a flank. Kassadin's here. Can be jumped on. Put low. TP gonna come through. All out used. Niski's too low for this. And although the Nah is low as well. Stop. Oh, that was a failed flash from Niski. He's gonna die for that. Certus gonna pick that one up. And Chasey gets killed off by the low health Nah. Well played by the solo laners of SK to just absolutely dismantle a play that was doomed from the start, I feel, from Mad. Because if they managed to pick off the Nah and no response TP came from Certus, great, that's a kill. But SK would still have had numbers over this Baron Pit like they have right now. They've already killed off the jungler. Their bot lane is nowhere near it because Irrelevant just zoned them away. This is phenomenal play coming out from SK. They're controlling this map stupidly well, and it means that Mad can't do anything. TP's going to come through here from Cassante. TP you should have to expect comes straight through from Niski. He's here. And he does have the Rift Walk to get over the wall. The fighting still continues. Kassadin comes over. They take out the Nah, but he was just playing possum. He was the bait, keeping away the Madlions from the Baron Pit. And boom. SK are getting away with the Baron. Certus is here. This should definitely be 4 members of SK getting out with Baron and getting themselves a nice gold lead off of this. They're already 6k up. You'd expect them to kill at least a tier 2 top and bot. Mad gonna not even trade back the tier 1 in the mid lane. They're still gonna be threatened by this SK lineup as Kazi has to back up. Bot side, it's just good play from Irrelevant, jumping straight onto the Kassadin, not allowing him to essentially move around like he wants to with the Rift Walks. Then Certus arrives, used his R1 already. He just Qs through R2s to where Niski Rift walks out. And he just burns him down with a nice Q. Then we come back to this. Obviously Elyoya gets spotted and chased out by the Sejuani, throwing 3 stunning ults onto him, not allowing him to essentially get out and kind of still be a menace towards this Baron play, making it still 50-50. So they kill him off. Good play from SK as they begin the siege into the tier 2 turret bot side. The big thing here though is Mad don't actually have a lot of wave clear. Other than the Lucian using like a culling, the long range poke that they had in game 1 is non-existent. This is a lot of close range champions as Kazi throws down the culling, and they're gonna probably kill off, never mind, they're gonna definitely kill off DOS, but the Zeri's still alive, actually finally falls. Never mind, I'm wrong, it's the Sejuani that falls, and the kills are still coming through. Certus is a menace on the backline, already got himself a double kill. Irrelevant picks up one, make it a triple kill for the Akali. I'm casting my ass off here as the Madlions are falling in game number 2. This should be the base push coming out from SK. 4 members down on the Madlions. The turret should fall, but instead they're actually backing away. Elyoya making a last-ditch play for this tier 1 turret in mid. They want the turret to fall. He will get it, but SK gonna pick themselves up. This Drake, surprised Elyoya hasn't gone down towards it because Margoon is nowhere near it. But boom, Drake stacking is even for both teams. But Baron still favors this SK lineup. It has just fallen off, however. As we watch this fight again on the bot side, it's Kazi just going aggressive, trying to force Exakick away. Takes him very low, but the Sigil lands onto Chasey, not able to go all out. Finally, Zeri now is free firing in as DOS gets taken out, but he uses all his sums as just a clean execute of Kazi comes in from Certus. He's chasing down Hilly, flash comes through, doesn't matter, auto from the follow-up of the Q, takes him out. Chasey now in the eyes of Certus. Boom, dead, and Elyoya is lucky to survive. That's all I need to say. Top side, tier 2 should be formality, as they're just so far ahead now, SK. Gold lead, 7k now, and stopwatches picked up for Akali and Zeri. Zeri's probably will be turned into a GA, and Akali's definitely is Sonya's, but that's also... Akali is getting close to her death cap. Picked up her second needlessly large rod. Why is it so large? It's clearly a needlessly large thing. Jeez. But yeah, game-wise, it's out of Mad's control. It's over. I can't stress that anymore. Mad do not have the advantages you'd expect from them with this sort of lineup. Topside just fell apart once SK paid a visit to it, and we've already got a fight. Gonna be killed off before the fight begins. Certus though is on top of Hylissang, gonna take him out pretty easily. Oh, the R2 just executes off Chasey. That was clean. Mamma mia. Send in the cavalry for Mad. They need it because they have just been wiped off the map by SK. So let's watch this again. Irrelevant spots them. He's just going in to try and cause havoc, but he doesn't expect how many members are there and just gets burst out. Certus sees Hylissang's on his own. He goes in on top of him, kills him off. He's already used his R1 on Hilly. He uses his R2 just to pick up the second. It's clean. He would have also killed him off with his Q, because that was also used. As we return back to live, Vi being chased out of her jungle. She's forced to flash. Exakick playing very aggressive here. He knows he can use the walls to dash about. But Vi's here. Could lock him down. Not going to. And Zeri gets out. Baron is on the table here for SK. You have to expect them to go for it as Shrally is popped. Nothing yet coming out from either team. Just a lot of long-range poke coming out from SK. Keeping the Madlions at bay. Niski knows he can't go over this wall. Vi being a homie, clearing out that ward. Niski now can step forward if he wants to. And he does. He's into the brush. Going on the flank, extra kick. The target not going to be killed yet. It is, however, going to be Elyoya being focused down by Mad. Sorry, SK. Ceases assist lands onto DOS, but that's the wrong target, my friend. Zeri is still alive, doing the damage the Naut gets flashed out from. And boom, stepping forward is Zeri. Hilly's too weak this game. He's been squishy, and I think SK know it, as both Certus and X-Kick have bursted him out. Turrets are falling, the game is over, and SK pick up a game against Madlions due to just outdrafting him, I feel. Certus getting this Akali, keeping Niski at bay, not allowing him to roam, has meant that Mad have just not been able to affect the map how they usually do. There's been no real deep vision, and because of the fact SK played top, getting Irrelevant into an even or slightly ahead matchup against Chasey meant that Cassante did not have the same impact it did in game 1, and as such, Mad just unable to play the game how they wanted to. Personally, that was very well played by SK with their snazzy jersey that I ordered, that I really want to be wearing. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's stream. Gonna keep it short, I've got things to do, if you can't tell by me playing Pokemon Go. Thank you very much for joining me. Game 3 went over to Mad, and then it was just a trade of blue sides. It's been a hard formula to understand, is how do you beat blue side? And well, this game Mad did so, but convincingly they did it against Koi, I should say. This game was just one of them tilt games from them, and realistically speaking, that's going to be it for today's stream. Thanks for joining me. If you want to leave some love, by all means do. I'll see you guys for a video next week. Haha, but you will see me live next weekend for the finals breakdown, where I can talk quite a lot about G2 America.